I graduated college this past May. I majored in film, and I originally planned on pursuing a career in television, but I decided to pivot to education because I thought it would be more stable and reliable. I also really enjoyed my education classes. That played a huge role in that decision. After I graduated college, I moved back in with my parents. So since late May, I've been trapped in the mysterious liminal space of Hockessin, Delaware. For the past months, in the words of De La Soul, I have been treading water. I go to work, I come home, I hang out with my gay dog, and every 2 weeks I get a check. Occasionally I'll talk about going to a nearby city to visit friends or starting the process of getting a master's degree, but I rarely follow through on either of those. The days blur into weeks, which has now been months. I feel like if I look away for too long, years could pass. But I don't feel any type of way about it. I'm treading water, staying afloat, but going nowhere. I worked unreasonably hard, harder than anyone asked me to get good grades in middle school, high school, so I could get into a good college that would fit my needs. 23 years of work, and here I am. It's just kind of anticlimactic, right? Sure, I like my job, but after all that, I was expecting a little more than just liking my job. If I wanted that, I could have quit during my gap year and kept slinging fast casual pizza. I couldn't help but wonder, what am I missing? Did grinding for so long kill my ambition and leave me a shell of my former self? At this point, I didn't know if there was anything I could do to get myself out of this funk. That is, until October 25th, 2024, when I purchased a video game that would consume the next several months of my life. Potentially more, that's just how long it's been. I, of course, am talking about Sonic X Shadow Generations for my Nintendo Switch. This game is so good. I bought it because Donkey said it was fun, but it monopolized my attention in a way that I was not prepared for. I played this game nonstop for a week. I would just get up, go to work, go home, and play Shadow Generations. It's fun, it looks great, even on Switch. It feels so good to control. Boosting through enemies, executing consecutive homing attacks, using chaos control at just the right time so the projectiles become a platform for you. And that's not even mentioning the abilities that you unlock along the way. Because at every turn, they are introducing cool new abilities that completely change the way you get around a stage. So many movement options, and they all just feel like so good to control. Except the Squid Morph. I'm sorry for you Squid Morph defenders out there, but it's just like anytime there's a Spider-Man swing mechanic in a momentum-based platformer, I get so excited because I'm like, that has so much potential, that can be so fun. And then like, every time, without fail, it's just starting the swing halts your momentum. Why? Why? What? Who wanted that? Who asked for that? Who said, yeah, I want to swing like Spider-Man, but every time Spider-Man latches onto something, he starts at like a perfect 90-degree angle and just like that's not what I want. That's not what the people want. Is that what you want?
Nope.
Didn't think so. Messing around in the hub world is an absolute treat, and the levels are just straight up cool as hell. The S ranks are easy in theory. You usually don't have to do anything too crazy, but the levels are pretty long, and all it takes is one poorly timed death to drop that S rank to an A. When I was going for all S ranks, I found myself clenching my teeth at the end of levels, trying to decide between the slower, safer routes or riskier paths that could kill me, losing even more time. That being said, I got most of the S ranks within the first 2 or 3 attempts, except Radical Highway. That one took several tries. The mini challenges are just a perfect change of pace from the larger main levels. They're just little bite-sized bits of fast-paced fun. They're so short, you can just like play them over and over until you optimize for like a really fast run. I mean, you don't need to go that fast to get the S rank. For some of these, I definitely wish that the S rank requirement was faster, so I could have gotten more out of that, you know? Because I'd play the levels and I'd get the S rank and I'd be like, that's it? I could have gotten that so much faster. But now I don't have any real reason to. This was my first time actually playing a 3D Sonic game. Sure, I picked up Colors Ultimate for my Switch, but I only made it through the first few levels before I put it down. And I only picked it up again months after so that I could give it away. It feels ridiculous to say, but my obsession with this game had a profound impact on my mental health. After I graduated, but before Sonic, I had a few small flings with special interests, but none of them really stuck. I mean, I got really into the Saw franchise. Not enough to watch any of the actual movies, but enough to watch a bunch of videos about the movies and become obsessed with this clip.
Killing is distasteful to me.
I was also really into Echoes of Wisdom when that came out, but it didn't leave a huge impact after I played it. Without a path to follow or an interest to obsess over, I just felt empty. It's like I wasn't growing. My job is exhausting, and even though it only takes up about 40 hours every week, when I'm home, I'm left with no energy or motivation. Just a bit of free time, which during the pre-Sonic era, I mostly spent mindlessly scrolling through Twitter and YouTube. But Shadow Generations broke the cycle. This was a game I played all the way through in a week and came back for seconds and later thirds. It was short, it was sweet, and it left me wanting more. But it was more than just a good game. It left me with this weird familiar feeling. Like I was trying to remember something important and I was just on the verge of getting it back. It was like my inside voice was trying to tell me something, but it needed help finding the words. I didn't want to play. I had to. I needed answers and I didn't know how else to get them, which made me wonder, why now? See, I played Sonic games as a kid and I had fun with them, but it never resonated with me like this. This was a special feeling I had only gotten 3 times in my life from 3 special interests. I first got this feeling when I was 8 years old and I played Kirby Superstar Ultra for my Nintendo DS. This was my favorite game. I loved trying out different abilities, seeing which ones I liked best, which ones were overpowered, which ones were fun to control, or even just which ones looked the coolest. Every ability in that game offers something special. Sure, both Jet and Bird Kirby can fly, but they feel completely different from each other, and neither of them feel like the original basic Kirby when he flies. I remember wandering around the Great Cave Offensive, discovering different enemies that led to new transformations. Like this plasma guy. He looked so cool, but I could never figure out how the power worked. I didn't even care. Just discovering something new to try was the best feeling in the world, even if it didn't stick. Looking back, I think it resonated with me because at the time, I was trying on different interests and styles, trying to figure out who I was. Every interest I had became my whole personality. When I was really into baseball, music, video games, anything I could get my hands on, I would try it out and see if it felt right. I had infinite possibilities and all the time in the world to explore them, which is exactly how I played Kirby. I learned a lot from that game without even realizing it. So why did I have that exact same feeling 15 years later? There's only one answer. Sonic is to me now what Kirby was to me back then. It is the special interest for this stage of my life, the one that will guide me through this new, confusing era, providing me with all the answers I need. Guys, Sonic will tell me what I need to do next. All I have to do is listen. But I also need to know the question before I start searching for answers. I don't want to live with my parents forever, but right now, I'm not taking any real steps to prepare myself to move out, whether that be furthering my education, looking for jobs in different cities, or even just developing life skills. But this choice paralysis will plague me no more, for I have found the Messiah, Sonic the Hedgehog. He will guide me to a new, certain era. I need to stop stalling and pick a path, and there's only one hedgehog who can help me. Or I guess 2 if you count Shadow, because like I fell in love with the Sonic gameplay, but the game that I was playing was Shadow the Hedgehog. Well, not Shadow the Hedgehog, the game. It was at this realization that I decided to pour through all of the Sonic content that was available to me until answers would present themselves, starting with... I first got this game years ago, but I never finished it due to a general lack of skill and determination. This time, I fared much better, because I actually understand Sonic. I get him. Instead of banging my head against the wall getting stuck at weird checkpoints, I would restart and choose different routes altogether. I didn't need to pigeonhole myself. And let me tell you, this game is so fun. At first, I would spend too much time messing around exploring the level, so by the time I got to the final boss, the timer would run out. It's hard not to want to explore every crevice of these levels like I did when I played Kirby. I want to find all the little boxes, all the giant rings, go through all the checkpoints with enough rings to play through all the blue dot stages, but the game just doesn't give you enough time for that. Sure, I could change the settings, but I want to play Sonic the way Sonic plays Sonic, which I assume is the default mode as Knuckles probably. The message of this game is clear and applicable. I need to figure this stuff out fast. The more time I waste, the closer I am to getting timed out permanently. So let's make it snappy and move on to... I'm here, reaching for these new frontiers. Also, haven't mentioned this yet. These games have the best music. Once again, I must inform you, this game is fun. I love the little side quests, especially this one where you're just trying to run around and do as much cool stuff as possible to get a high score. That's like my favorite thing to do in this game. It's just a blast. There's so many side quests, so much stuff to explore. It reminds me a lot of when I played Breath of the Wild. I spent so much time just doing all of the little side quests and everything before the final boss that when I did take on Ganon, I was completely overpowered. But then when I went back to the game after to finish up the shrines, I just didn't want to do it. Even though defeating Ganon had no actual impact on the game, the side quests just felt pointless when I wasn't using them to procrastinate the main one. And that's exactly how I feel about Frontiers, which is why I'm taking it slow, doing everything as I go. I have not beat the game as of recording, but I've definitely gotten a lot out of it. See, on each island, Sonic wants to free his friends, who are holograms now, but before he does that, he always does a bunch of side quests, like canonically. He solves these little rock people's problems first, and it always kind of helps him work towards the end goal. What I see in this is that you're never going to really go wrong with setting little goals and working towards them. If there's some low-stakes stuff you can do to help other people or better yourself, you should do it. It doesn't matter how small or insignificant it might feel, or whether you think it's working towards your end goal. You gotta do it. It's the right thing to do, and it makes you and everyone around you better, which is why I am learning to cook, and I'm inviting you to learn to cook with me. That's right, as of recording this, I've already filmed a video essay of my mom's chili, and I'll edit and post it later this year, along with a bunch of other recipes, so that when I move out, I can use those to make all my favorite things. Doing something small is better than not doing anything, and getting to record and starting to edit this chili video has already made me feel pretty nice inside. But let's move on to... Yeah, even though I started this whole thing with Shadow Generations, it took me 2 whole Sonic games and 5 whole fandubs to finally play the second half of the first thing I did. But once I remembered that there was a whole other game in the game I'd already played, I got to work. I played the first several levels, and they were pretty good. 3D played much better than the 2D, but that's probably because I was used to the more refined Mania 2D. I did, however, like getting to see the same levels first in 2D and then in 3D. It was all going swimmingly until the midway point, when I heard a song that stopped me dead in my tracks. I'd heard this song before while watching the dubs, but this time I really listened to it. I was playing City Escape while myself considering escaping to a city. And that line echoed off the walls of my brain, taunting me. Just keep on moving ahead. I realized that was my exact problem. I wasn't moving ahead. I was stuck, and I'd never been stuck before. In the past, I was always moving towards something, whether that be getting good grades, getting into a good college, or eventually just getting a degree from that college. In my current job, all I'm doing is showing up every day, just trying my best. But will that ever be enough to fulfill me? Even if I get a master's degree and I start teaching for real, the grind will be the exact same. Maybe the problem is I'm focusing too much on my job. But of course I'm focusing way too much on my job. Can you blame me? All I've done my entire life before now is prepare to have a job like this. So now that I have it, obviously I expect it to be my sole source of fulfillment. Why else would I have put in all of that work? 23 years of my goddamn life. But it was never going to be all that. Sonic doesn't only clear stages, mindlessly collecting rings and running to the end goal. He's picking up the Chaos Emeralds along the way. He's eating chili dogs, helping his friends. He has a life. So why don't I? Why don't I? I understand now. I never needed to get a master's degree. I mean, I could, and I probably will eventually, but that was never going to be the thing that fulfills me. It's the process of setting a goal, working for it, moving towards something. That's what matters. It's such a simple answer. Setting goals for myself. But it's something I've never actually had to do before. I spent my whole life in school where it's just been assignment after assignment into a big project, into a final grade. I mean, it's built like a damn video game. You figure out the mechanics in a low-stakes environment, they up the difficulty when you get comfortable, and then eventually you're just at the final boss. Meanwhile, I've graduated from an elite university, one of the highest levels of school short of the graduate variety, and I feel as though I have no discipline nor any executive function. It's almost impressive how unprepared I am to direct my own life. I have the skills to complete tasks assigned to me, but I'm completely helpless when it comes to making real decisions about where I want my life to go. And I'm even worse at executing those decisions. Was school supposed to prepare me for that, or was I supposed to figure that out on my own? Because it feels like the constant onslaught of work and the feigned urgency of every assignment was designed to distract me from actually asking myself what I wanted and verifying that I was moving in the correct direction. Oh, what now? You know what? Worrying about my preparedness feels so unsonic. Quite frankly, it doesn't matter if I'm unprepared. And it definitely doesn't matter if any perceived failure is personal or systemic. It's in the past. And one thing about Sonic is he does not backtrack. He keeps on moving ahead. He keeps on moving ahead. So it. I'm getting a master's degree. I don't care, screw it. I'm getting a master's degree. Whatever, man. And I'm gonna start looking for jobs in other cities. Is it financially irresponsible? Absolutely it is. But it's forward. It doesn't matter where I'm going. The only wrong answer is standing still and letting the timer run out.
Killing is distasteful. To me.
Killing is distasteful to me. It's okay after literally, like, this is the 5th movie of him just killing everyone, but I guess he's not actually killing them, he's having them make choices. But like, these do not stand a chance. These do not stand a chance. No, some of these challenges are like there's like a tripwire and a shotgun. I'm sorry, killing is distasteful to you? Oh, you didn't pull the trigger of the gun, so I guess you didn't kill. Like, bro. Like, I pulled the trigger, but I wasn't the bullet going through his head. The bullet's what killed him, not me pulling the, like, dude. Ah, God, I love it so much. I love it.